Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm Brian O'Halloran. This is why games matter. Part 2 of the sequel. You can't see it, but I can see that right about here is a red blinking light saying REC record. We tried this another day. Wasn't recorded.
Didn't work out.
But it was a great information conversation. A whole bunch of things were found out. But you didn't see it. Gaming habits for me started, I guess, when I was maybe 14 or 15. So we're talking about 1984, 85. Friends started in with the basic D&D set, you know, with adventures that were written and modules and stuff. And it was kind of cool. It was that type of fantasy world of dragon slaying and trolls and orcs and all that type of thing. And the fact that you had these giant books of, you know, the monster manual and the player's handbook and all these like real kind of nicely bound type of things at the time. Well, eventually they all cracked and fell to pieces because you're opening and closing all the time. So we would do those adventures and those modules, and then we would move on. And then I moved to another part of Jersey and met a whole group of other friends who also gamed. And it was kind of a weird thing that was the thing in common, that the gaming industry and world is what bonded my other friends. Plus the fact that I was never at all athletic to be on a sports team or anything like that. But at least I had the nerdy type of, you know, dreams of science fiction and fantasy. It was a type of escapism as a young man in my high school years. My father passed away when I was 15, and I think it was a way to just not be around that whole situation. So that's how my table gaming habits started and have continued today. So then we got into other things like space opera, and we would also still do D&D as more and more modules would come out. And then we got into things like Top Secret and Call of Cthulhu, and then the James Bond game, and then DC Heroes and Champions, and all these wonderful RPG games. And then, you know, Atari came out with their so-called computer, and then we started playing like, you know, Ultima online with Ultima, and then, you know, Castle Wolfenstein and the old school type of, you know, scrolling type of players on the computer, but we still table games. And so that was going on for many, many years, to the point where my friend started writing his own adventures and writing his own modules that we would play. And then we started to move over to the Iron Crown system, the Lord of the Rings role-playing system and combat system, because it had a very, I think, at that time, a better critical hit system. You had a better, it was, you know, D10 percentile as opposed to D20 with add-ons, you know, so then you were percentage-based type of roles. And we did that for quite a while until we started getting into our early years of college, and then when people got overwhelmed with study and whatnot and then moved away for other jobs and stuff, kind of petered down, but we went into video gaming, you know, and stuff like that. But we still have friends and we still get together from time to time to do table games. It was been quite a while since I did, you know, I'd say Dungeons and Dragons gaming until this con, which they asked me to be part of the new, you know, version 4. I mean, like I said, the last time I saw something was the version 2 of those. So it was nice to see. I thought they simplified it down, I think, enough for a younger generation to get into it quick without being overwhelmed with all this math, because we know how America's doing in math these days. That I think it was a good way to get someone in there quickly and get them familiar, and then show them the world of the Monster Manuals, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and things like that. Yeah, my online fantasy fix gets, I guess, fed by Guild Wars. You know, it's a great game. I thought it was well done. I think the mechanics are well done. I think the engine, the combat system is very well done. They expand the spell list, you know, time and time again. You have a main profession class, and then there's a subclass that I think that is very well done, especially with every new expansion pack that they do. They bring in a new character class that kind of works out really well. And they're always modding it, and every weekend there's a new type of add-on bonus type of adventure to try. I've tried World of Warcraft. I like it, don't get me wrong. The only thing that stops me from playing it, to be quite honest with you, and most of any of these, is the pay-to-play part of it. I think the pay-to-play part, like, come on, Brian, you cheap bastard, just pay it. I can see them trolling on the site right now, knocking me down. But I think what it is the fact that, what happens is, let's say you have 5 accounts of different games. Let's say you're a City of Heroes account, and then you have a WoW account, and then you have, your Star Wars account, and maybe now you've joined that Star Trek account. Eventually you're not going to want to have to pay 7 different monthly accounts. Next thing you know, your heat's being turned up because you have too many gaming bills. So I think it's the type of thing where if they just kept it, what happens is you start losing each game that you're not going to play anymore, and the only way you'll be able to play them again is if you buy more time. And I think what you're doing as a manufacturer of these games is losing fans that are devoted. Like Guild Wars fans are highly devoted to the game because they know they can get on, go off it for 6 months, do what they need to do, play something, and come back to it. And it's not like, I got to sign on my account, I got to make sure that they get my, address, or I buy a card at the game. It's that type of thing that I have a rig that has a Windows 98 operating system, just so I can go back and play those old school games. What's going to happen when these servers are down and you can't log in anymore? The game that dies. That's not what you want as a game designer, I think. I mean, obviously, money-wise, I'm sure I'm a businessman, business model says we make $20 gazillion with the accounts every year. I'm sure, but your fan base eventually will So that's why I like Guild Wars. It's a really good community of players. I've had friends who've met people and got engaged because of who they met at a party. And that's every game, it's not just Guild Wars, but I think it's pretty cool. There was one scene we shot in the original Clerks where Randall goes to a competition video store, and he's in this wonderful video store. The only scene that we had to salvage it is him falling to his knees going, "Ah!" There was a whole scene where another very helpful video clerk would come in and be all sorts of helpful and really would freak out Randall. We completely lost all the footage because the mag that held the film had a slight crack in it, so it all got exposed to light. So it's the lost footage. I have the film because he ripped it out mag and then just threw it on the floor. And just as a goof, I just spooled it around my finger and I just kept it. To this day, I still have that lost footage, actual negatives. It'll never be seen because obviously it's been exposed to light. So, do you accept this role in the new Star Wars movie? That'd be a great question to ask. Really? You know something I don't? Yeah, Lucas, put me in. I don't know, put a funny mask on.